Why did you start to learn how to trade? Probably like most people, you wanted to earn money, right? You wanted to make a lot of money. You wanted to experience financial freedom. You wanted to experience time freedom. That's probably why you wanted to learn how to trade. Now, you're in this position where no matter what you do, you feel like you can't figure it out. You feel like you're stuck in this cycle where you think you're making progress, but you're not making any progress at all. You think you're following your rules, but every time you lose, you overtrade, you overleverage, you try to make back your loss. You spent multiple hours, days, weeks back testing, trying to perfect your system, but you can't seem to get a payout. You can't seem to find consistency. Now, why is that? Why can't you be like everybody else that you see on social media, getting these big payouts, seeing people in Miami, doing crazy shit, living the life that you always wanted to, that you've always dreamed of? And you think you're doing everything right, but you're still failing. The truth is, you're probably not following your system at all. You're probably not following the things that are supposed to make you profitable. Maybe you do it, a day or 2 days, maybe you do it for a week, but you aren't finding true consistency in your trading because you're not following the simple set of rules that you've set yourself that proved to be profitable when you were backtesting. Now, why can't you follow those rules that you set for yourself? Maybe it's because you have something to prove. You want to prove that trading can work out, maybe to your parents, maybe to your friends, maybe to everybody that's doubted you, right? And you're trying to do it as fast as possible. So you're trying to rush the process. Maybe sometimes because of this, you're not following your system and you take a trade that you think might play out and you end up losing. And you're mad at yourself for taking that trade that doesn't follow your system. So you end up over leveraging. So you end up over trading. And what does that lead to? A blown account. What do you do after you blow that account? Well, you swipe your card again, you enter in your card details again, and you buy another account. And at this point, in the same day, you're so mad at yourself for not following your system that you completely lose control. And now one blown account turns into maybe 5 blown accounts in the same day, and now you're down $750 because you wasted your money on 5 150K combines from Top Step in one day. Not even in one day, in 1 hour. I'm saying this because this used to be me. I was in that same position as you guys. Trying to prove something to someone, trying to prove that, trading is actually possible, even though social media says it's not possible, that only 10%, 1% of traders become profitable, and this whole thing is a scam. But what it took for me to realize that I don't have to prove anything to anybody else, and I have to do this for myself, was to lose almost everything that I had. I was down to my last $50 in my bank account. I've said this in previous videos. I was down to my last $50 in my bank account, trying to rush the process, right? Trying to pass my evals as fast as possible. I didn't even get a payout to that point. And I was just trying to rush the process to get to that payout, and maybe I would be able to show my parents. Maybe I would tell everybody, hey, look, I can actually do this. Day trading is a real profession. And when I got to that point, I realized that I just made a big mistake, right? I wasted all of my hard-earned money from working without following an actual system. And it took me to that point to actually make a change and follow the rules that I set for myself in the very beginning when I first started trading, right? To actually see a difference in my life. Because my back was against the wall, and I knew if I didn't make a change now, I would probably never see a change in my life in trading. Now, for you guys, it doesn't need to be like that, right? You can make the change now. You have the choice to make that change where all you have to do is know when to press the button at the right time. That's all trading really is. Knowing when to press the button at the right time and knowing when not to press the button. And just thinking about it outside of the charts, it seems so simple. But when you get on the charts, everything just seems to change. You think irrationally because you're so focused on the results. You're so focused on the outcome. You want to see that green P&L. You want to see that large amount of numbers that you're seeing on social media. And you're stuck in this cycle every single time where you're so focused on the outcome that you don't focus on the process. And you not focusing on the process leads to you blowing more accounts, buying more accounts, blowing more accounts, and it's the same cycle over and over and over again. And the problem is because maybe you don't have any other consistency in any other part of your life. Yes, maybe you go to the gym. Maybe you go to the gym 5, 6 days a week. But that's all you do with your life. You go to the gym maybe 6 times a week. And then what do you do when you get home? Maybe you doom scroll. You don't do anything else productive. You trading and then going to the gym is not exactly the most productive things that you could be doing with your life every day. I'm not saying they're not productive. They definitely are productive. But you don't have any other consistency in your life. Maybe you can't even keep a sleep schedule, a proper sleep schedule. Maybe you can't sleep at the same time every single night and wake up at the same time every single morning. Maybe that's the reason why you can't follow a simple set of rules that you set for yourself that you know will make you profitable. But you can't do that because you're scared. You're scared to find that consistency. But why are you scared? What's wrong if you just try this out one time and see some actual progress in your trading? I promise you, if you stick to your rules, if you stick to your system consistently, you will see progress. And even if you do take losses, you won't even feel the need to overtrade because you've seen yourself take these losses when you were back testing. These same exact losses you're taking when you're back testing, you're taking it in the live markets. The problem is that the losses that you're taking may not be following your system. It may just be a result of you becoming emotional because you're mad at yourself for not following your system one day and taking a loss and trying to make back that loss to get yourself in a break-even position where you're able to reset, some sort of reset in your routine, I guess, or in your system where that loss didn't even happen, right? So you can forget about that loss and then say, okay, that was a mistake. You know, I shouldn't have pressed the button when I wasn't supposed to. I was being emotional. Now, the next time I do this, I'm never going to do it again. I'm never going to do what I did before again. But obviously, that doesn't end up happening because you're stuck in this cycle. You're stuck in the cycle and you'll never get out of it until you have that self-realization that this will not work out long term. And for some people, it might come to that point where you're dead broke And you either have to make a change, otherwise you won't see any progress. But for other people, you may be watching this video, and after you watch this video, you might actually make that change and actually stick to your rules until you get that payout. And then you get that payout, and then you reflect, you see that calendar, and then you see that all of your losses were only one loss in a day, because you lock yourself out of the account after you take that loss in one day. And then you come back that next day and then you take one trade. Either win or loss, it doesn't matter. You take that trade, you go on with the rest of your day, because you have something else to look forward to in your day. Trading should not be the most exciting part of your day. And the moment you make it the most exciting part of your day, the moment you look at it as the most interesting part of your day, that's when it becomes the most dreaded thing of your day. Because when you take that loss, all you feel is dread. All you feel is regret, because the loss that you took didn't follow your system. And now you're letting that loss ruin the rest of your day. Because you take that loss and maybe, you know what, I took this loss, you know, I'm not going to go to the gym today. I just feel like shit because I took that loss. Well, why do you feel like shit? If you took a loss that followed your system, would you feel like shit? You probably wouldn't, because you know from backtesting, from all your previous market experience, that this loss is part of a winning system. Now, you still have a choice. You still have a chance to rewire your brain to think in a way where losses are a good thing. Systematic losses are a good thing. You still have a chance to do that. It's not too late. Unless you want to be part of this, you want to be stuck in the same cycle where you're swiping your card every time you blow a funded account. Now you're stuck in the same matrix that you want to escape out of, right? You're working this job. You want to escape from this job, escape from the matrix through trading, but you don't realize that you're stuck in your own rat race. You're stuck in your own matrix of consisting of you and all the other unprofitable traders that are doing the same thing that you're doing on a daily basis. Not following your rules, which leads you to becoming emotional, which leads to you over leveraging, which leads to you blowing your accounts, putting in your card information and doing the same shit all over again every single day. And that's the reason why there's this statistic of, 99% of traders, 95% of traders, whatever the high number is of traders not becoming profitable. Because they can't control their fucking emotions. You can't control your fucking emotions. And it's okay if you slip up once or twice, but some of you guys do this on a daily basis. And then you ask yourself, why am I not seeing any progress? Or maybe you already know what you're doing is wrong. And after you take that loss, maybe you feel some sort of regret. But you just can't seem to break out of the cycle because you're scared of getting out of your comfort zone and actually stick to something that is supposed to be fucking boring. It's not supposed to be fun. Trading is not supposed to be fun, but you can't let go of that because you want this trading thing to be fun. You want that dopamine rush every single time you enter a fucking trade. You enjoy it. And the more you look at trading as a side hobby, the more you look at trading as something that's supposed to be fun, the more it will be something that is fun. The less serious you'll take it. Trading is not supposed to be fun. When you have a set system and you follow your set system, trading is supposed to be the most boring thing you've ever done. You don't want to wake up and go on the charts. You genuinely don't, because I genuinely do not want to wake up every single day and just glue myself to the charts for like an hour or two every day because it's so boring to me. Because there's days where I just sit on my hands and I don't take a trade. I don't take a setup. And I look at other things in my day as something that's more important compared to trading. I have things to look forward to in my day. You guys need to find something that you look forward to in your day outside of trading to the point where you can't wait to hop off the charts. Some of you guys spend 3 to 4 to 5 hours on the charts, and that's just going to make you make more impulsive decisions. You want to place that trade because you haven't placed a trade the entire day. Now, the more you do that, you find yourself at the end of the week that you haven't placed a trade this entire week, and somehow you need to place a trade, but your setup hasn't appeared, and you still place that trade. The hardest part about trading is the beginning part of actually learning trading. Once you've learned how to trade, once you've learned your system and you're confident in your system, trading doesn't become hard. The only thing that becomes hard is knowing when to press the button at the right time and knowing when not to press the button at the right time. So can you adapt to this? That's the question. Can you look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you can stick to a set of rules that you've set yourself, that you've set for yourself? Can you do that right now? Even if you can you actually execute? That's the real question. Can you execute this every single day without fail? Or not even without fail, but to a high success rate. It doesn't even have to be every single day because, there will be days where you end up becoming emotional and you can't really do anything about that, because we're human, right? We're human. And even when you do experience days like that, can you come back from days like that where you completely crash out, you lose control? Can you come back from that situation and still stick to the system that made you profitable? If you can't do that, work on it. Make that change now. Don't wait. Don't wait for the right time because there is no right time. There really is no right time. So either you can be stuck in this cycle forever, or you can willingly make that change that will make a change in your life, not even just in trading, in your life as well. The choice is yours, man.